So if anything happened in the home, to bring law enforcement there, what would you think happened?
That there was a shooting.
Between whom?
I don't know. Between Cody and my dad.
And why would you think that?
To protect me, or to help me, or to do something with me.
Hello, everybody. What's happening? Welcome back to episode 2 of the True Crime Banter podcast, the podcast aimed to bringing you your dose of murder relaxation. My name is Riley, and for all of those who thought this podcast was going to be like all your workout routines at the start of a new year, once and done, well, I'm here to happily prove you wrong. This week we've got a doozy for you, and with Thanksgiving just around the corner, what better way to prepare for the family kerfuffles than the senseless story of Mr. Grant Amato? Wow, we're here, episode 2, and we got this dark, ominous music in the background here, but I don't know, I just don't think that's gonna work out for today's bit of banter. And before we dive into the story of Mr. Grant Amato, we are going to get into today's bit of banter. So the other day, I was listening to a podcast, right? And this couple, they're explaining their experience at a car dealership. And long story short, basically, they were looking to, upgrade their current used car to a brand new car for like the possibility of a same monthly payment, I guess, because of the market right now. I don't really know. But they brought up a question that I thought, you know what? That's actually a pretty good question. And I wanted to pose the same question to all of you. And you can go ahead and leave your answers either down below or in the comments section if you're listening to this on YouTube. Or head over to our Instagram, True Crime Banter, and leave your answer on today's post regarding Grant Amato. And that question is there anything more painfully difficult to purchase than the process of buying a car? Because I'm not sure there is. At first you might be thinking, I don't know, maybe a house. But I feel like the most difficult part of buying a house is actually just finding the right one in your budget. But here's the thing about buying a car. Nowadays, everybody knows what they want, right? Most people can see the price of the car online. They can find which dealership shows it actually available on the lot. And I feel like the approach, I equate buying a car to buying something like hot sauce at the grocery store, right? So you know what you're intending to purchase. Once you get there, what you want to buy. But maybe you'll take a minute and you look around, and see what else might catch your eye. You got some Tapatio over here, some Cholula, but I'm telling you guys, always go with Tabasco. Just always Tabasco. But now imagine after you already decide on the sauce of your choosing, right? You go up to the register, and then the cashier says, all right, well, I'll be right back. Let me go talk to my manager and see if this hot sauce is going to work out for you. So annoying. Could you imagine that experience buying anything, really? And I get it. There's more and more services out there that are offering, easier car shopping experiences, but more often than not, you're probably paying some sort of fee somewhere to make that experience possible. So the question is there anything more painfully difficult to purchase than buying a car at a dealership? And then I guess a follow-up to that is, how much extra would you be willing to pay to basically let a company expedite that whole experience? Be sure to, let us know where I said before. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the case of Grant Amato. So as someone who grew up as a part of a large family, there's a lot of lessons that I was taught as a child. And one lesson that's always really stuck with me is Eat before you drink. My grandpa taught me that. And to this day, I still, I still make sure I finish all my food before I finish whatever drink is accompanying it. But maybe, another possibly more important lesson that I've learned as, a parent to be soon in the future, at least that's the plan, is your goal as a parent is to do the best you can to set your children up for a life better than the one you had. And Grant Amato's father, Chad Amato, was a perfect example of that. Grant Amato was the youngest of 3 boys. He was the middle child of Cody. Cody was the middle child. So Cody, the middle child, he was just a couple years older than Grant, while the oldest boy, Jason, he was actually from their mother Margaret's previous marriage. But that didn't prove to be of any significance, as Chad Amato loved Jason as one of his own, enough to legally adopt him and give Jason the Amato name. So the boy's father, Chad, he worked in the pharmaceutical field with such success that he was actually able to build the perfect dream home for the family. Each boy had their own room. Margaret, the mother, she was close enough to ride her own bike down to the local horse stables, where she'd not only care for her own horse, but for the neighboring horses as well, even after hers had unfortunately passed. So back in January of 2019, from the outside, it seemed like life couldn't be more perfect in the Amato household. That is until the middle child, Cody, failed to show up to work one day. Growing up, Grant and Cody would butt heads, I guess, as typical brothers would, but as the two of them made their way through high school, they kind of began building a bond that seemed almost unbreakable. Beginning with weightlifting together to eventually sitting side by side in the exact same anesthesiology class in college, they seem to kind of have things right on the right track. So Cody had actually finished his schooling and got his degree in anesthesiology, while Grant, unfortunately, ended up failing out and moved on to a job in the medical field as an assistant at Advent Health Orlando, which it was here where the first major red flags started to pop up. It was June of 2018 when Grant Amato was arrested for stealing drugs on the job. He claimed that he was stealing them for the patients. Likely story. I'm sure that's never been claimed before, but nothing really actually came of that. In fact, although the medical clinic said that they had intended to, no charges were actually filed against Grant at all. And in fact, here's Grant Amato talking to investigators about this exact situation.
Did you have to go in front of the board or anything?
No. I didn't have to go before the judge, because when...
No, same board of nursing.
Oh, no.
With any of this.
No. First person I called was him, and he was at work at the time, but he answered his phone, and I was just like, look, I'm freaking out. I've been charged with this. I've been told that my bond is this. He calls my dad. He smooths things over as best as he can. He's just basically saying, I'm going to pay this.
So because of this incident at this Orlando medical clinic, Grant was left jobless. Luckily, he was still living at home with both of his parents and his brother Cody. So although he wasn't working, he still had a place to live. And as I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, especially in the times that we're currently living in, depending on the situation, that is, losing your job can actually be viewed as either a positive or a negative. I feel like that's kind of a given, Riley. But for most people, the immediate response is going to be like, hey, I got to find a new job as soon as possible, right? I need money to put food on the plate. But for others, losing their job can actually give them that burst of motivation that they need to chase their dream job and do what they said they never had the time to do because they were always stuck working. And because, Grant's dad, Chad the dad, Chad was the ultimate anything for my children kind of guy. So Grant actually pursued the latter and chased his dream of being a Twitch streamer. And for those of you who don't know, Twitch is an online platform where people can live stream really any type of, I guess, gaming or lifestyle content. You can actually actively communicate between the people watching and yourself via a little feed called the chat, where you just type things in, press enter, and, you know, if you're streaming, you can read what people are saying to you. So at this point in time, Twitch has like 9 million streamers right now. So to like truly make a career out of streaming, there's a lot of time, effort, and obviously creativity that goes into it. And, you know, Grant, with the help of his family and some money loans from his dad and his brother Cody, he was throwing everything he had into this new passion of Twitch streaming. You know, at least that's what his family thought. Just a few months into chasing his dream, Grant's father Chad and brother Cody, they wanted to see where all this money they were lending him was going. So Grant's answer was always something along the lines of, well, advertisements and promotions. You know, I'm just trying to get my name out there into the streaming world. I'm just trying to get people to come watch me. But what they didn't know is that when Grant said advertisements and promotions, he actually meant to say Sylvie. Now, some of you, you know, you might be asking, what's Sylvie? Actually, it's more like who's Sylvie? It's Sylvie Venslabova, a Bulgarian webcam model on popular adult site MyFreeCams. So while the entire Amato family thought Grant was out here grinding the hours every night on his Twitch stream, trying to build this community around his gaming and, you know, whatever else Grant was doing on that Twitch side of his, he was actually part of a whole separate community. A community that would, well, similar to Twitch, they would watch young women, and probably some men too, I don't judge, live stream to a group of viewers, as you would on Twitch. And those viewers, they had the same opportunity to actively chat back with the streamer or person creating the content. However, different from most Twitch streams, if you were one of Sylvie's viewers and you wanted to say hi or hello in the chat, you know, which I'm sure is totally what the content of those chat logs are like, then you had to pay the equivalent of $10 per minute. Imagine $10 a minute to talk to some probably half-naked chick halfway across the world. Like, $10 a minute. How much can you type in 1 minute? Listen, I'm not trying to judge what other people are doing with their time or money, I guess, because I know how annoying it is when people try to tell me what I should do. But I just don't see 1 minute of chat to be the most productive way to, I guess, spend $10. But to each their own. So the issue with this situation, though, is that Grant's not spending his own money on this cam model, which he describes as a virtual girlfriend. No, he's spending his family's money that they're lending to him. And here's the thing. Here's what really gets me going with this. I'm going to let Grant explain it himself, because you guys, you're going to have to hear about this.
Well, what I was doing is, over the past 4 months or something like that, I've been talking to this woman online.
Who's she?
She's, as embarrassing as it is, she's a cam model.
A what?
A cam model. Do
All right.
either of you guys know what that
Nope.
is?
Just like all the videos, you have to tell us.
A cam model, it's like it's like a virtual girlfriend, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Like that type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the money went to her.
Okay. Where's she at?
She lives in Bulgaria.
Where?
Bulgaria.
Where's that?
Over in Europe. It's like
Okay.
outside of Germany.
Okay.
Something like that.
You ever been there?
No.
Okay. So how much do you think you spent? On this?
Probably close to like $200,000, I'd say.
$200,000?
Yeah.
And where'd the money come from?
Money came from me, my brother, and then my dad.
Did they know where the money was going to?
They didn't know that it was going to a cam model.
What did you
I
tell
was
them?
saying that it was going towards my Twitch streaming, like advertising, like putting my name out there and that type of thing.
So there it is. This dude is dropping upwards of $200,000 of other people's money on a cam model he's never met, never seen in person, and all for what? What, to feel loved? I don't know. And I'm sure you're probably thinking, after $1,000, you'd probably be asking Grant, hey dude, where's this money going? But no, Grant's father actually supported his son so much that he actually took out a second loan on their family home to help Grant pay for what he was saying was his Twitch stream. After finding out about this cam model and, where everyone's money was going, Grant was eventually kicked out of the family house. But even before then, though, even before he gets kicked out, his dad still wanted to do whatever he could to help his son, specifically with this newfound, cam model addiction. So Chad Amato laid out some basic ground rules, and the two main ones were as follow. Grant was to go to rehab and try to rid himself of this innate desire to talk to Sylvie. And Grant was also not allowed to contact her in any way, shape, or form. So, at 29 years old, Grant is basically being grounded from all electronic devices as if he was a 12-year-old boy who just got caught lying to his parents about why he wasn't home before the streetlights turned on, or some stupid little... you're actually being grounded from electronics at 29 years old. The thing about it is that for Grant, this sudden disconnect from Sylvie, not as easy as it probably should have been.
And he had this list front and back on a piece of paper of all the rules. This is what's going to happen. This is why I'm acting the way that I'm going to act. I'm not going to be Dad anymore. I'm going to be Chad. And I basically told him that I'm going to be present. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to start trying to get jobs now. I told him what my plan was. It wasn't really my intention to continue talking to this woman, but it just kind of happened. And then because there was like that emotional connection, I guess you could say, between her and me, like it felt like a relationship. I didn't want to just stop cold turkey on it.
So you can probably put two and two together, and Grant, he dropped out of rehab. He dropped out, unable to stick to his word of not speaking to Sylvie again. And guess what? His dad, Chad, he found out. And he gave Grant the date of January 24th, 2019. That was the day Grant was to be out of the family home for good. So, January 24th comes. Grant explains that he was at home that final day with his mom. His dad, frustrated with Grant's continued communication with Miss Sylvie, the cam model herself. And some sort of, argument sparked up, to which Grant actually ended up calling his brother Cody and asked him to come home early from work. Grant explains that he left the house, met up with Cody, and Cody told Grant that, he would take care of the situation.
When you left Cody, what did he say he was going to go do?
Cody said that he will take care of it.
Take care of what?
Just the situation that was at hand. And I was basically just waiting in that parking lot until I had to leave to go to the interview.
I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything before we get close.
So, let's do a quick rundown real quick of everything so far. Grant, he got fired from his job for stealing drugs for the patients. Alright. He convinces his family to loan him money to support his dream of being a Twitch streamer. Grant racks up this $200,000 of borrowed money and puts it towards chatting with an online cam model rather than what he said he was going to use it for. And then his dad finds out, gives him rules and stipulations for allowing Grant to continue to live under the family roof, and Grant breaks those rules. So then Chad kicks Grant out of the house, and Grant asks Cody, dude, I need you to leave work early. Come see me. I need your help defusing this situation. And then his brother Cody says he'll take care of it. Well, here's the thing. So, as you guys can tell, we're playing some clips of Grant Amato in this interrogation room. And Grant describes the following events while being interrogated. He says, after talking to his brother Cody, he went and hung out in the parking lot of one of the local grocery stores, and then he heard rumblings about some shooting that had occurred in his neighborhood. And he decided to go ahead and drive by, his now old home. Not my home, not the family home, that's my old, I used to live there. No, so he decided, I'm going to go check it out. And he drives by, and he notices there's police and news crews just outside of it. And so during this time, Grant has no desire to look into what actually happened at his old family home that he was literally just kicked out of. And he explained that, he had a job interview and that he was preparing for it for the next day. And here he is, after having heard of a shooting in his neighborhood and, okay, police, news crews in the driveway of the family house. You know what? I'm in the interrogation room of a police station now, and 3 hours into this interrogation, and Grant has yet to ask anything along the lines of, what happened or why am I here? So after 3 hours, investigators pull out these photos of Grant's brother Cody, his mother Margaret, and his father Chad, all shot dead.
Did you leave the house with your brother Cody looking like that? Or did you leave the house with your father looking like that? Or your mother? Is that how you left your family?
No. Nobody else went into that house.
Who left your family like this? If you were the one that's been depressed, you were the one that owes money, you were the one that got into a confrontation with your father, who did this to your family? If you were trying to defend yourself or something else happened, we need to know now to help you. So tell us what happened, Grant.
He walked in the house and was shot the minute he walked in the house. The minute he walked in. We see trajectory, we find the projectile, we've got everything on that. He's shot over here and is brought over here. See it over there. We found the bullets in the house. Mom's sitting her thing with a glass of wine, doing her thing, and she's shot. You just got to step over and tell me, man. I want to help you. I do.
So, as you can probably predict, out of anger that he could no longer speak to the love of his life, his virtual girlfriend and cam model Sylvie, Grant Amato first shot his mother Margaret while sitting at her desk. He then walked in and shot his father Chad to death, and waited until his brother Cody walked through the door so he could finish the job. Grant was charged and convicted for the murder of his parents and his brother later that year, sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Some of you might be wondering why not the death sentence. Well, that's because if you remember, Grant was the youngest of 3 boys, and his oldest brother Jason was now the lone survivor of this tragic event. And even after having lost both of his parents and a younger brother, Jason actually pleaded for the jury to reconsider sentencing Grant to death, as he is the only surviving family member that he has now. And, this is just a small clip of what Jason said to Grant in the privacy of the interrogation room, and I think it just goes to show the sadness or the severity of what Grant had actually just done.
I do love you, though. Just remember that. Just like Mom, Cody, and Dad loved you. Nobody loved you any more or any less.
And there we have it. Yeah, you can tell. It seemed like a close family. And a story like this just goes to show the dangers, or just how dangerous too much, I guess, alone time on the internet can be when it's put into the wrong hands. And it's a tragic ending to what, honestly, it started out as a father and a brother doing whatever they can to support just a son's dream. Anyways, thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, do be sure to share this with your friends and family. Leave a review or a comment if you're listening to this on the YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at True Crime Banter. My name is Riley, and I'll be talking to ya in the next one. Take care.